Hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? Well, today I come to you in my new little studio I just created. So much fun. Um, I'm here to talk about love. How it's the law, how it used to be, and what it needs to be. My biggest issue I have today with love is people are using it all wrong. And here's the dealio about it. See, unconditional love is the law of the universe. Okay? It doesn't matter what galaxy or planet you're from. So, when you break from love, and here, we're not going to talk about this for a minute, so I'll close this for a second. When you break from love and you do it wrong, it's a being. It's a being with its own soul on top of that. So every word is a being. When you speak and somebody else speaks to you and you have a conversation, the two of you are using your words to create a situation. If that situation is negative, that is now negative, that is laying here on this planet, and it has to be absorbed somewhere. For instance, you're at a bar, and you and your wife are just having the greatest time ever, and all of a sudden a man slaps his woman. Okay? Every person that saw that is affected by that. And because of that, their vibrations fell, the other's vibrations fell, and you'll see that that energy of that creation of what those two people did affected everybody within a certain radius of them. Now, if you just remove all barriers, okay? We remove all walls, remove everything. Let's say we're all on this planet with there's nothing. There's no walls between our homes, okay? And let's say the energy of a fight goes out a mile, which is what I'm hearing, I'm understanding. So the energy of a fight ripples out at least a mile of dropping everybody's vibrations. Now, the good thing about it is positive vibrations. So like me and my husband who cut up all day long and just have a lot of fun and don't take anything seriously because it could harm our own lives, we're creating positive vibes everywhere we go, everywhere we do. And that ripples out, and that does affect the negative vibes better. But it's still, when you get hit down, when your vibration gets brought down, then it affects everything about you. Stop watching the news if you can't make freaking fun of the stupidity of it. Seriously, it's stupid. News has always been stupid. I have felt that way my entire life. If it does not directly affect you, what the hell are you doing listening about it? Seriously. You know, situations happen because people create these situations. And I say that because we all had our soul contract and we created our situation. I mean, that's what it is. So we need to take charge of our situation and know that, hey, it is your duty to love. In unconditional love being a law, it is a law that you are supposed to help other people vibrate higher. Period. So anything you do on the opposite end of that spectrum will always come back and bite you. If it doesn't bite you in this lifetime and you say, oh, they got away with their... No. Not one human being gets away with diddly squat shit. I'm telling you, nothing. Ain't gonna get away with it. You can't get away with it. And the facts are that everything that happens to you happens because of what you do. So if you live a positive life and you give love and you help everybody around you, and no matter what comes at you, take it with grace and love it back, you will find you will create a new world around you. You'll have a new worldview that does not get affected by any other human being. Because you know you are the one that's creating the higher vibration, and you want people to sing to you, so think that way. For instance, I do a lot of prayers. My prayers are praising. I don't ask in any, I don't understand why people ask for things in their prayers. That's not what a prayer is about. When I pray, I praise. And I praise a certain group, and I'm always going to praise that certain group. So we are all from Atlantis, period. Whether or not you want to remember or not, you had to be. So here's the dealio. Granted, everybody's DNA comes from this. Now, some people did not experience the starseed side, so they don't understand the whole walking into skin issue, which was quite. I have such vivid memories of those days, and it was so how would you say it, awe-inspiring yet terrifying, because you got to understand, one of the frustrations that people have is the lack of freedom, and what you're screaming for freedom isn't a freedom you can attain in this body. It's a freedom you used to have, the freedom to fly, the freedom to travel outside the galaxy, back to your home galaxy if this is your starseed thing. So yeah, we have starseeds, and we have soul contracts. We have, I want to say, oh, it's in the timeline. I never remember where my stuff is, and I wrote all this stuff. So we had to lock in the dimensions, okay, in the 21 HBHs. All right. So all this stuff got built. But one thing that nobody paid any attention to, and you never do, is Terra has creations in the core. Okay? Not to mention the giants and whatever she's created above on the crust. She also has core. Oh, I wanted to talk about the core for a minute, because I got to visit and see. So this drove me crazy. So when you're in the core, and you're walking the land in the core, it looks no different than it is on the crust. So much so, I tripped. I looked up and I was like, God, what is going on, guys? How is it that you don't just see a big molten core? And, I don't know. My brain, when I heard about the inner earthlings and I heard them talking to me, I don't know. I assumed, because I know we're feet to feet, so I assumed that they were looking up at a bright core, a molten core, and we do not have a molten core in the center, by the way. What's in the middle of the planet? Okay, so they're calling it a quantum entanglement. I still do not understand what these things are, because I don't understand the quantum thing. So there is a quantum sphere that creates a. So now, this drives me crazy, because when I saw this, I tripped out to wonder, oh my God, could we be living in the core? Okay? So I don't know if we're crust or core anymore. Because when I was in the crust and I look up, so Admiral Byrd had something happen to his plane. It had to. It has to, because it had to go through a veil or a dimensional barrier, but it's not a dimensional barrier. I don't know how to, a gate, and this gate would have flipped him upside down without him knowing he was flipping upside down in a way. It's so weird. And then when you're in there, what you see is exactly what we see. They could travel to the moon too. Yeah. They go up in space like we do. They shoot off rockets like we do. And I don't understand how we do not detect them, other than the fact that I do believe those are the guys that are working on the dark side of the moon. So we have seen them in the day. I don't know. They're talking to me right now as we speak. So we have, okay, this is, I saw the aerospace engineering site in the core. And when I saw that, I kind of tripped out. I was like, what the hell, guys? There's no way. You guys are just going to hit a core. And then they're like, look up. And then they brought me to the big telescope. And I was like, oh my God, this is what? No. And I'm still kind of in that, like, what the hell? So, so yeah, total steampunk down there, by the way, guys. All the people that are in that steampunk, yes. They have a lot of leather because they have mammoths. But they don't kill them to eat them. They wait till they pass on their own, but there's just so much leather from them because they breed them and they have a lot of them. It helps them, whatever. They don't have elephant. They have different mammals. Saber-toothed tiger, yeah. They got water. It's psychologically a total mind blubber. It's so hard sitting here thinking I was in the crust looking out and looking up going, wait, I can see all the planets. You can still see, and they track and they do everything by the stars because they have to. They're the ones that are using the 13-month calendar, the 13 zodiacs. They're the ones that are reminding me of the facts. They're still reverent because that is, so the Atlanteans that so-called fell did not fall and die. Mot's sadness of her creations were the death of her giants that didn't make it, and then they froze. That's how it went. And then we landed, and then we built again. And we built differently. And I know that we have a pact with the core because that's the other ones. But when they went back, the core doesn't forget. So you'll meet a core human. They'll say, I'm 675 years old. Yeah, they've died. They've died repeatedly. They just remember all their lives. And so if they've lived 8 lives of 75 years, you see what I'm saying? And this is their 9th life, then they're counting all the years that they've lived because they remember. Only the crust do you forget. And if the ones in the core want to come to the crust, they have to do the forgetting because that's the dealio with living on the... Because when you live in the core, you don't have the free will that you do on the crust. Well, no, free will is the wrong thing because they do have free will. Okay, so I got the way they're explaining it to me. The governing system is completely global. Well, interglobal. That's weird. And so the laws that are set forth for every being. Well, that's the way it should be up here. Well, that's the way it will be up here. So they just went through their issues, their dealios, because everything cycles and everything is the way. So they're into the peace sect. So we're 20 to 30 years out from it, but or the beginning of it, which this hopefully will spark some eventually at some point. And I'm just trying to explain that as you remember, if you've lived, I've never lived in inner earth that I have been privy to remember. I may still get that memory back, but I do know of it through the dimensions. But it is a different view and a different way to look at it. But love governs everything. And so when we went through after the age of the giants, we still had some giants that hung out with Atlanteans. That's why there's stories. David and Goliath, bullshit. But we would have never harmed a giant. We would have never done that because they're from the earth. I mean, they formed out of lava. They walked out of volcanoes. There was no human skin on these giants, FYI, period. So when we walk into skin, which is when we walk from Lemuria, Lemuria is where the area between the tesseracts that we were able to hang out, which was over the waters, over where so the giants were created. They walked out of volcanoes that came from a ring of islands. These 9 islands were between Greenland, Ireland, England, Spain, Africa, and nowhere near America, quite far from America. They were much closer to the other isles. And there is a scar in the planet when it happened. It was a very big deal. It was the only time this ever happened. And it only happened because we did not want the earth to end today. Had we had not done what we did and balance the earth out by sending a group into inner earth, the core, which would be, I want to say, 15,000 BCE. So the oldest people in the core are 15,000 years old. And they will be born over the next 20 years, the oldest ones, and coming back to bring it back. Just like they're, I'm C-Shot, I've come back. King Thoth will be back. Just as the Atlanteans need him. Now, he's back, but he's not back here. He's back in there. So he'll be back. He'll be coming to the crust. So, yeah. Wow. Maybe I could go live in the core when he comes to the crust. That would be interesting. So the pyramids were built. And then very soon after I passed into, my body is in eustasis and I don't understand it. I don't know if I go back to it. I'm not sure. But I know that I had to go through and come through and do the dimensions. And then this is our starseed origin. This is what I was talking about. So I'm Andromedan. Tiamat's Andromedan. I have never heard of Mintaka, but these guys, one of the reasons why nobody's heard of them is because it's funny because Loki has an entire show about them and they don't even know it's them. It's hilarious. But see, these shows and these things, these guys want people to know. Reptilians, it just means that you came from the earth. That's all it means. Doesn't mean you're any different. These are just people that have leveled out and then come here. And yes, I guess in some ways you could say that if the reptilians haven't leveled up through the HPH system, that there is a chance that they could be a little harsher because they haven't learned their lessons yet. That's all. But it is our job. This is why all the rest of us came from Andromeda, Vega, Lyra, Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus, Orion, and Mintaka. Y'all came from there in order to assist this planet. So we should be doing that. And that's the whole ordeal, dudes, is you're here for a job. And if you are one of these 8, it is especially essential that you get right with love. And you start helping people because it's the law. It's the law. You ain't going to put up with bad people around you. Now, you ain't never got to be abused. No. Love yourself first. But it is definitely something that y'all need to pay attention to. And we did. We had 9 islands. And I do have the 9 islands marked out here. Eden was Etheria. So I've got the real names here because some people are going to remember it by this name because that's the after the fact story names. And then some people are just going to remember the exact names. And that's why we went ahead and given you everything there is. I will say this. I never left Eden. I couldn't. Being the scribe of Thoth and the daughter and the princess, I only became that in order for me to study, in order for me to figure out what I needed to do, in order for me to come to you today to bring this information. Okay? So I had no reason to leave. I had no reason to go any places. I wrote and studied. And I'll tell you what, since I put all this stuff up, and I know I'm making these these YouTubes, but yeah, I don't know what to do with myself because for 50,000 years. So when we locked in the dimensions is when I'm not privy to give you the information of those where he comes from. I'm not, because I know Thoth is not from one of the 9 in this cluster. I know he comes from another set of clusters, and that's not privy for me. But Thoth was involved as a light being here because he came in. Actually, I want to say he comes in at 100,000 at the call because he starts working from there until 50,000 BCE. He's working with the divine on the 17 dimensions and the 21 HBHs. Once these are set in line and anchored, and Nubis is in place and everybody's set up, that's where we do this. And seeing as I am love, that's who I am, not incarnated. When I'm not incarnated, I'm love. All right. And so when I'm incarnated, I only have a short period that I'm ever incarnated as a being. This is my other time, my only other time. I've been in the dimensions because I had to for like 14,000 years, which is fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm excited to bring this to you. I'm probably the only person that will bring it to you free because I am bound by the laws of God, if that's who you want to call Thoth, King Thoth. My father, I'm bound by all these because I plan on going rainbow body. That's why everything is free. I do everything for everybody. I won't be abused by anybody, and you're not going to take advantage of me, but I am here to answer anybody's questions. Just write me. I got daughter at Messiah of Conscious Tech. Just let me know what you guys want. All these have ways to contact me. I don't have a contact me on this one. I'll put it up when I get done with this. I don't want to make these too long. I just want to send my love and let you guys know, hey, we're all in this together. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why I say all this and make these videos is just to inform you that we're supposed to love each other. We're supposed to be there for each other. This is Atlantis. This over here, this is Atlantis. It is. This is where we come from. Now, this is the best I could get. We used dome homes and spiral buildings, but that was the best we could get out of that. So, as always, at the end of every one of these, I like to do this. The True Lord's Prayer. Praise the All, Divine Pymander, and King Thoth of Earth. Thank you for our life, death, and birth. Knowledge, love, and reverence for all you teach, so we may appreciate mountain to beach. Let me sing your praises all day and night, especially when my body rests for the next day's plot. Forgiving myself as I forgive them all, so I may receive my own forgiveness call. Kindness and consideration are a must. Let me always be just. Peace and tranquility throughout the land. Let my presence always be a loving stand. I love you, Aries, Maki, Haumei, Ceres, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Terra, Venus, Mercury, Sol, and Luna. 13 planets, a sun and a moon, and we should be thankful for every one of them. And by the way, Ceres is the mother of the moon. She gave us the moon to settle our tides so we could go and travel outside the Atlantean islands. Without her and without the tesseracts going to the north and south, we would not have been able to go outside those 19 islands, and we would have just been done. So if we're not giving thanks to everything all the time, along with our 5 elements, what are you doing? I love you guys. Have a beautiful day.